Happy New Year, new season, new blessings. We still here. I need you to be more creative this year. And when I'm talking to you, I'm definitely talking to myself. It's Obscure 8, and today we are going to dive into Anatomic 2.0. If you've been following Anatomic in the series of me creating sounds and patches from scratch, it's been basically a 2-year journey at this point, a little bit longer than 2 years. And now we finally have gotten to a usable instrument within Reason 12. And for those that do not use Reason at all, you can use the sounds from the bank and put them into your DAW or your sampler, however you see fit. You can use them for MPC key groups, whatever type of hardware that use key groups, velocity layers. It's basically good to go. It has 48 notes, 48 files per velocity layer. So it's 48 core notes, spanning, from, C3 on, and depending on wherever the root notes start. The 48 notes span the core sounds of that instrument or that patch or that experiment, whatever it was. So those are the core notes. Everything before and after you can time stretch to make a full 88 key instrument. So you got 48 notes per velocity layer. So that's about 144 files per sound. So an instrument might be a polyphonic synth. That would be 144 files to give you that multi-layer instrument. So basically you would load that up in your DAW or in your hardware, and you can have a playable instrument using the raw analog files that I'm using. And the dope thing is I've been using it already. Some of the stuff that's been coming out last year was a little bit slow, but the stuff that's been coming out and will come out has Anatomic all over it. Anatomic will stay in my template because I'm very excited about having analog sounds wherever I'm at. And this whole project started out of me wanting the raw sounds from my synthesizers and experiments over the years, everywhere I was going. Anytime I had a session where I was patching things in, I would basically take notes of what sounds I like. And then I would, in between sessions, I would take about 30-40 minutes and just record the whole multi-layer instrument into the DAW. So I've got years of instruments and sounds and files that I'm converting into Anatomic. We got one out and we're doing 2.0. One still needs the refill. The refill is out for 2.0, but it's half of it. It's 25 sounds. The full one's going to be 50 sounds. So I wanted to test it out with the 25 sounds and see how, the playability is. This was my first stab at a refill. And a refill is basically, for those that don't use Reason, it's basically a compressed bank of sounds. And it's in a usable form. It's very convenient for your Reason users. You can just load it up. It takes up less space than the original set of files. And across each Reason user computer, you can plug in the refill and get straight to it. But like I said, for those that don't use Reason, you can take the files and load them up. And there's a video already up from Anatomic Volume 1 showing you how to do that. I need to do a video for key groups because that will be my first time as well with that. This was my first refill and it came out pretty dope. So enough of the introduction. Let's dive into the sounds and how you can use it in your DAW. And if you're a Reason 12 user, you already know what to do. So let's get into it. So this is the refill. This is how it looks in Reason 12. And it's organized by combinator patches. And this is a custom combinator faceplate. If you know anything about Reason 12, you can customize your own faceplate. So we designed this Anatomic synthesizer faceplate that helps you toggle the effects, the key effects, the effects that I would typically use in a session right on the faceplate. And this is crucial for sound designers. Like I approach this with the sound design type mentality. Most VSTs have like a closed box type approach to it. I love that Reason is kind of like somewhat open source about allowing people to create their own VSTs pretty much. And that's what we did. So you've got combinator patches. You've got 25 in 2.0. Effects patches, everything is organized. Your Roper patches, and then you got NNXT. NNXT is basically the guts of what's inside the combinator. And then you've got wave files. The wave files everybody has access to. If you buy the version, the sound bank version, then you get access to all the wave files. You get access to 24-bit version. Everything is 16-bit, and that's one limitation of Reason is bouncing the samples. You will end up with 16-bit samples, the individual clips within the sequencer. But I work in 16-bit anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. But I did export 24-bit versions to the bank for those that use 24-bit and want that higher clarity. So let's dive into it. You got the wave files. You've got your Roper user wave, which we'll get into. First and foremost, let me break down what it looks like for Reason 12 users. You got the faceplate. When you open it up, you'll see all the devices. Everything is pretty much in sequence in terms of effects. You've got the channel EQ, modulation effect, which is phaser, flanger, filter. It's called the sweeper within Reason. And then you've got Screen 4, which adds many different textures. Echo, RV7000 reverb. And then you have the mixer. This is important because each velocity layer is going through the mixer. So on the faceplate, you can control the volume. Like if I take this high velocity down, you'll see it's down on the actual mixer. So the faceplate, the face of the combinator, controls all the key parameters of this instrument. So you got high velocity, you got mid, you got low, and then your Roper. Your Roper is basically a synthesizer that allows you to take user waves and create new sounds. You can combine user waves with all different types of waveforms that are already within here. But in the refill, I only use the user wave. So you can get a clear picture of what the user waves sound like with the actual raw sounds or without them. Most of them have, well, all of them will come with a patch with the Europa muted. So if you want to hear how that sounds, then you just unmute it and get it going. So, all right, enough of the introduction. Let's get into the sounds. So I'm gonna just skip through about half of the sounds and give you an idea of what you're working with within Reason. And if you don't use Reason, you can create your own instruments with these. But the key thing is create your own. I want you all to get into sound design and get more serious about creating your own sound, molding your own sound. That helps differentiate what you're doing versus everybody else. So let's get into it. This is the patch called Short Harp. It's a key patch. In each sound name, you have the overall patch number, OB8, Obscure 8, the type of category it's in, and then the actual sound name. Now with the categories, a lot of these sounds can go either way. So I just picked a category. Like some keys may sound like polyphonic synths, some bells may sound like they could be an effect. So I just picked, one that was one of the many different styles it could be. But with this, the sky's the limit. All right. This one's called Short Harp. I'm gonna bypass the effects and just give you an idea of the raw sounds, and I'm gonna step through them real quick. This is Europa. And since everything is in this one instrument, you could blend everything together. Like you could take the raw sounds and blend them with Europa. Mute the raw sounds and go back to Europa. And if you know anything about Europa, it's a beast in and of itself. You can clone sounds, you can combine raw waves forms with new sounds, and just, you know, the sky's the limit. Like with this, I can combine a basic analog sound and, like I said, you have the raw waveform in the actual synthesizer. So you have the actual waveform guiding how that sound ends up. And waveform, wave synthesis is a beast in and of itself. So when you get into sound design, study wave synthesis in addition to learning about your basic sine waves, square waves, and all that stuff, because with Europa you can clone your sounds, create a new type of sound. All right, let's get into some more sounds. So with Reason 12, you can use control voltage and control effects and a lot of other parameters within the DAW using patterns, whatever types of effect or utility control that you want to use to basically modulate your whole sound. So here's an example. I've got control voltage making this damage control go along with this pattern within this matrix sequencer. And that's all controlled. These are pattern banks within the faceplate. And you can adjust this, customize it however you want to within your own DAW. So or within your own session. So this is just an example of how to use the refill and the combinated instruments. So let's keep going. I'm gonna move through these pretty quick. And if you want to do parallel processing, like I have this track set up with some more effects on the parallel track, it gives it even more thicker, bolder sound, because you can protect that raw sound on the main track and use the parallel for your effects. Like a dirty organ. Europa. With the Europa, you can customize it any way you want. So these sounds are just a base level. And that's it, man. That's it. Like I said, there's 25 in here. I just wanted to run through a few of them. If you get the refill, I promise you will not be disappointed with how it's set up, the fullness of the sounds, and it's only going up from here. This is just the beginning. This is my first stab at doing a refill. It's a pretty intense process going from start to finish, and I might do a video covering how these raw sounds are kind of mined from the analog gear and the process. So stay locked. This won't be the first time you see Anatomic. It will be in every session going forward, and it's gonna get crazy. So see you.